Hi, my name is Scott Hussey with Guide Tracks, and I'm going to take you through an overview of the Worship Song Band multi-track player app. This is a great app to use for playing back your multi-tracks that you can get from any of your worship sources, any of your soundtrack sources. Super easy to use. You can use it on Mac, you can use it on iPad, you can use it on PC, and you can also use it on Android. So multiple facets that you can use it on. So let's just take a quick look at it. When you open it up, this is what it looks like. And if you go over to you'll notice down here on your left-hand side, you've got the help account, gives you what the latest release is, credits of who designed it, some of the different multi-track companies that you can buy from. Obviously, we're right there at the top. And you can click on these and go straight to our website as well. The next thing down you're going to see is the lyric display, and the lyric display will allow you to not only play the app, but you can also hook it up to your screens in your church, or if you have TVs, hook it up through HDMI connections, whatever, and you can actually display the lyrics themselves to the congregation, or if you're using it as, even I've seen people use it as a karaoke type of playback. The next area is going to be pedal control, and this allows you to be able to set up MIDI functions that you can use different type of controllers for. I highly recommend this. It's great for being able to set up cues, being able to move to the next chorus, just different types of things that you can use on it. The next thing then is going to be your audio out. So this is going to be important to look at, because right up here, it's normally set up to the default audio split, which a default audio split is allowing you to have two channels of playback. And so that's pretty much, if you look, it's like using just a regular phone's jack, or like a 1/8 of an inch phone's jack that can go to either 2 XLRs or to 2/4 inch mono channels out. And when it's set up on the audio split, what you're going to end up doing is hooking, you'll hear that the tracks themselves will go down the right channel, and then in the left channel, or channel 2, will end up being your cues and your click track. And so that allows you to have two different channels, and obviously if you're not familiar with how to set up this, you definitely want to watch our video that shows how to do that. Then the next thing down is going to be the type of interface that maybe you're using. In our case with this video, we're using the M-Audio Air 192.14, but you can also set it to where you're just using your internal headphone jack. So however you choose to use your interface. Then the next thing down is going to be the pads channel. And so here, when you click this, you're going to notice that you can load in pad tracks for the player itself. And when you load those in, you'll notice that these three functions right down here, this green, this red to green, and then this red, and then also this cross fader volume and the key, this will show up in your window, and that'll let you know that you have control of using pad tracks. We have loaded up 3 different pad track libraries, so I'm just going to go ahead and click on the Angelic pad library right now, and if you notice, when I hit the green, it's going to begin. There you go, and you'll see a pad track is now starting to come in. You can raise the audio to it however strong you want it to be. If you're not familiar with pad tracks and using them, I highly recommend watching our training video that talks about that, because they're definitely super useful to have. And again, in the app here where we've got them for you to use, if you click on the B flat, it'll call up the different keys that you can choose. So if you want to use a different key, just click it and there you go. And that's what's nice, is it goes straight to it. Then if you click the C, it takes the keys back out. If you want the pad track to fade out, you just hit the red. And again, there's your fade out. So this is your fade in, this is your fade out. And we'll talk later on about how the crossfade function actually works. Here, this is already checked for you, but you might want to always check it when you're setting up. But that is, this allows that when you press the pause, that it fades the volume down instead of making it abrupt, which is a good function to make sure that you have. All right, so then let's talk about network mode. Network mode allows you to set up to where you can have actual multiple players be able to use the app on their iPads or on their computer. And so, for instance, what that means is, if you set up, if we go up here to the top and we set up this computer to be the master, which means it's going to run the tracks and all the major functions, then we click on it. But if our guitarist and let's say our vocalist are wanting to use the chord charts, then on their app, they actually click the show chords or show lyrics only. And that sends it only those functions from the master service. So this is another great function that allows you to not only run the multi-tracks, but when you see the chord charts, which we're going to show you here in a minute, when you see those, you can actually send those to your other musicians and your vocalists, and that way they're not having to actually change or use a secondary source, but they can actually follow along with it. So this is something to take note to, because we'll talk about it again when we get to that function. The next thing is going to be just how you want your chord displays to look, and so you can mess around with those with your functions. Download samples. When you do upload the program, there's going to be some free samples that are there. Obviously, your Atmosphere pads and stuff. The different type of pads you have are there. It looks like we here at Guide Tracks, we give you a free track of Better Is One Day that you can experiment with. So then, let's now get out of, let's see, we were in settings there. Let's get out of settings and let's actually go to the library. So if we click on library is going to have all of the tracks that we have downloaded or purchased in our library. And if you notice, if it's just a click track, then it's only going to have a click and it's going to say worship song. It'll have the click and what key it is and what the beats per minute is. Let's look at this. So up at the top, we have song, we have the provider that you got it from, we have the genre, we have the original key that the song was created in, and then we have the original beats per minute that it was created in as well. So in this case, let's go ahead and let's call up a song. So we're going to go ahead and call up House of the Lord. And for now, we're just going to do it in show song form. However, if you were to build a set, which we'll do that here in a little bit, you would put add to set. As a matter of fact, let's go ahead. We'll just go ahead and hit add to set. Now, if you notice, when we hit add to set, over here in the far right, we have a little dot. And when we click on that, there is the song we just loaded in. Okay? So let's click on it. And now let's click on House of the Lord. And if you notice, it says, do you want to show song, delete song, clear it from the set, or do you want to save the set? In this case, we're going to say show song. And when we show song, you'll notice our mixer comes up. And our mixer has our click. Well, first of all, we have our master. We have our master effects volume right here. So this is for all of them. Then we have click, then we have our cues. And remember, click and cues are going to go down the left channel, okay? And then in the right channel, we're going to have drums, percussion, bass, EG is electric guitars, piano, synth. In this particular one, the REF is the reference track, which means it's the original track, which is great to use if you're practicing. However, you're not going to want it in your main mix. So what you're going to want to do is take that volume. I take the fader all the way down, and also just to be careful so it doesn't accidentally do anything, I go ahead and hit the mute button on it, okay? And then we've got our BGVs. Now these are your faders, so you can kind of create the mix how you like it. You've got mutes for each channel or each track, and then you have solo for each track, okay? You can set your mix with these, and you can create different levels with them. But let's say, you know what, I really didn't like that mix, and instead of having to adjust them all back, you can actually hit reset mix, and it will set it all back. So again, let's take the reference track down for now, and we'll bring it up, and that way you can at least hear it and play it. Now let's go to the very top. If you notice at the very top, this is actually our cue line that goes all the way across, okay? And you'll notice is that each one of these parts is going to be the different parts of the songs. If you click on it, it will actually, this little marker will go to the beginning of it, and it starts there. But this is the timeline and the sequence of how the song runs. Okay, and if you look over here at the top, we have what the time of the whole entire song is, and underneath it in blue, that clock tells us where we're at in the song. So again, if we were to go here, now we're at 2 minutes and 36. Now we're at 2 minutes and 58 seconds. The overall time in the song is 4 minutes and 16 seconds. I'm going to go ahead and take the marker all the way back. If we go down here to, let me get off that. Okay. If we go down here to the bottom of the right-hand corner, you'll notice that we have a number that says 86, and this is our beats per minute. This is our metronome clock. If we click it and go up, this will speed the track up and make it faster. If we take it back down with the arrow, then it slows it down. So again, this song was originally recorded in 86 beats per minute. It's also a 4/4 time song, so there's 4 counts to every measure. And then when we click here, B flat is what the original song was recorded in. However, if we wanted to change the key of the song, this is where we would do that. So that's one of the things that's great about this app, is that you can actually change the key on the fly if you want. Let's say you practiced it in B flat, and all of a sudden that morning maybe your voice is tired and you need to adjust it down a half step from B flat to A. Go ahead and do it. Now, one thing I will say, you might want to give your musicians a heads up, because they have been practicing it in a different key. But it is a luxury to have, which is nice. Down here in the bottom then is our control window, and so we have a really big play button, which is great to have, so you can't screw up. You have your rewind and you have your fast forward buttons, and then once again, these are the controls to the pads. This is your pad volume control, and this is the key for your pad. So in this case, this song we're actually playing in B flat. I'm going to, just for giggles, to make sure that we're all in the same key, I'm going to go ahead and hit B flat. Now, if you noticed, when I hit that, it went ahead and started it. If you need it to not start, then just fade it out. There you go, and it'll be off, okay? That's something that's really good to have set ahead of time, so that way it doesn't just start on you, but that is the function to it. Over here is again, this would be our display if we were to send this to the screens for the people in the congregation to be able to watch the lyrics, okay? And we will dive into that a little bit more. Here's a nice little function, and that is, this is the band's mix. So if you had the band listening to the tracks independently on their iPad or their computer, and it was slaved to this one, they would actually hit the band mix, and they can make their own mix however they want, and yet it not affect your main mix. Now, they won't get the master mix function. They will only get band mix, which is nice, and it'll have its own mixer on their side. But that gives you an idea of how you can set a band mix for them. All right, so now we've talked about the mixer. If we go up here to the top right-hand corner, we see mixer, and then we see chords. Now, if we click chords, this whole function is now going to change for us. And if you notice, now we're getting what looks like a chord chart. And this allows us to be able to follow along with the song and also follow along with what our chords are. So this is a great, great function. This allows you to do two different things with your playback app. Okay? So we're going to come back to this, but let's first go to the mixer, just to get an idea of what this is like. So we're going to go ahead and start this. Notice when I hit play, you hear
intro.
It's got a count
2,
off,
3,
and then the
4.
intro starts. Now we're in the intro of the song. Now, if you notice, if it's in red,
All in.
red means that's what we're playing right now, okay? And in this case, it's going to continue to go.
Verse 2, 3, 4.
So let's go ahead. We'll take the reference track out. And this is all of what the track is, okay? Now let's say, how does this become important? Well, let's say your bass player is actually there on that morning.
Chorus.
Go ahead
2,
and hit
3,
mute and take
4.
your bass out. Let's say your drummer's there. We'll go ahead and take the drums out. And now we just have percussion playing, electric guitar. Let's say that we got lucky and we got a really good guitarist this Sunday. We'll take the guitar out.
Turn around. 2, 3, 4.
And remember, if you need to, you can adjust your click volume if you feel like you need more click. Or you can
Verse
adjust your
2,
cues if
3,
you feel like you
4.
need more cues. Let's say your vocalist, you think, we got good stuff on vocalist,
Drop
then take
out.
your vocals out. So this is what's really nice about using this mix, is that this
Chorus.
allows you
2, 3,
to use
4.
any of these tracks. I'm going to go ahead and bring these parts back in. Now, if you notice in here, let's say we wanted to hit
Bring
this
it down.
chorus one
2,
more time. If
3,
I click
4.
it's going to allow me to go
2,
back to that
3,
chorus.
4.
Watch. So see, that allowed me to repeat that. So let's stop right there. Let's talk about, notice how it's fading out as I played that. Perfect. Now let's talk about this function, because if you notice, if I click on this and I right click on it, it gives me some options. I have the ability to skip a section. I could loop this section once. I could even loop it twice if I wanted to. You could actually skip a section and then skip to go to that part if you want. This also then helps you clear out all skips completely. You can set your cue presets. And then you have selection actions that you can create. So when you create your selection actions, here's where you can add those in. And you can tell it what to do. And I'm telling you, this is a great tool to mess around with. This one right here, at the very end, if you wanted to start the very next song, you could literally do that at the end of the play. So like, for instance, we could do this. We could go to the end of the song here and tell it section actions, and we could tell it start next song. You can tell it beats before it ends where you want it to start at. You can give it time on what those bars are. Another function that you can do with it, we're going to take that one out, but you could say fade out the song. Let's see, what's another one? You could fade in, you could tell it to fade in the pads at the very end of the song, which is a nice effect if you know that you're going to come out of, let's say it's a slow song or even a fast song, and you want to come back and just do the chorus by yourself without the track playing, but you still want to have the chord pad playing underneath. This can be a command that you can put in that spot. So there's so many functions that you can do in just this area and connect it to whatever you need to on that area of the track or song. Okay. All right. So let's take a look at the chord chart. We're going to take the song back again and let you get an idea of what the chord chart looks like when it's playing. So when we start the song, it's going to count us off.
Intro, 2, 3, 4.
And come right in. So the intro, notice how the intro and the outro, they share the same chords. So that'll show up again at the end when we come in. So now we're going to come up to the verse.
3, 4.
We worship the God who is. We worship the God who evermore will be. He opened the prison doors. He's parting the raging sea. My God, He holds the victory.
Chorus.
And now
2,
it's going to go to
3,
the chorus.
4.
There's joy in the house of the Lord. There's joy in the house of the Lord today.
So we're not going to go through the entire song, but I'm going to go ahead and click. If you notice, I'm going to have it skip the rest of these functions, and I'm going to have it go ahead and just go to the ending, just so
Turn
we
around.
can finish
2,
the song
3,
out.
4.
Now, obviously, this definitely answers the question of how can you move around in the song if you want to just, only do a couple of parts. Well, this is how you would do that.
3, 4,
so you're not stuck to just the format of what the song is, but you can actually create your own format with it. Great function to have. All right, so let's go ahead and go back and let's look at how we would create a set list. So let's say, hey, we're going to do a 3-song set list. We're going to open up with House of the Lord. And then I'm going to go back to the library and let's see, what could we do after that? You know what? Let's stay in that same key of B flat and let's do Heartbeat. And we're going to add that to the set. So now notice over here in my set list that it's now dropped Heartbeat down. Now let's say we get some wild hair and decide, you know what, I actually want to do that song first. Well, if we click on Heartbeat and just drag Heartbeat up, you'll notice it will move it into the other place of where House of the Lord is and make it the first song. Okay. All right. So in this case, we're going to go ahead and just switch those back. I still like House of the Lord. And then we're going to pick one more song. Let's see. Let's go from B flat and let's go to this Yeah, let's go to this nothing else. We're going to add it in. All right. And let's just say, for some odd reason, let's go ahead and show the song. Let's say for some odd reason, man, our vocalist just isn't feeling it today. So we're going to go ahead and bump them down to, let's take it down to B. So we'll go ahead and just bump it down to B. Half step up from B flat that we're opening with. Okay. It's actually not the best recommended way, but hey, that's all right. And then those keys is what I'm talking about. All right. So now we have created our set list for that morning. Okay. Now, remember, one of the things that we were talking about was your functions. So I know for myself, let's say we wanted to go right out of the first song and go right into that second song. What I'm going to do is, let me click out. I'm going to come down here to the end. And at the end, I'm going to click and go to Section Actions. And I'm going to tell it to start next song. I'm going to go ahead and tell it to on song load. Okay. And how many times do we want that to happen? Only the first time. I don't want it to happen with every single song that we're doing. We're only going to do it on this first command. So I'm going to close that. And if you noticed, there is a function. These little fader things, that means there's a function that is happening at the end of this song, okay? So let's go ahead and go back. We're going to go to the beginning of it. We'll get into the song.
Intro, 2, 3, 4.
All right, so that was House of the Lord. You know what? Now let's just go ahead and go. We'll go ahead and just cue out of the song. We don't have to go all this far. So let's take the end of the chorus. We're
Play
coming
out.
out to the outro. And here comes our ending.
Ending,
2, 3, 4,
end.
end. Awesome. People are clapping, responding, and we're, getting ready, and we're going to go right into this next song, and it calls right up. And here we go. We're already set.
1, 2.
And there
1,
he
2,
starts
3,
right
4.
off.
Intro, 2,
Which is
3,
great.
4. Intro, all in. Verse, 2, 3, 4.
So there you go. We come out of that. We're going to come to the ending of this song. Now on this one, when we come out of the ending of this song,
Chorus,
we'll go to the
2,
outro
3, 4.
first. This is our ending.
Ending, 2, 3, 4.
And notice when this one ends, it'll go ahead and call up the second song, the third song, but that third song is not going to start until we actually go to it and start the play for it. And that's nice because one of the things that's good about that, I'm going to go ahead and stop this. But one of the things that's good about that is that it gives us the ability that if we wanted to, you know, let's say we had a prayer, or maybe the pastor or somebody wanted to come up and share something before we went into that time of worship, that allowed us to where our tracks just didn't keep going, that they stopped till we started the second one with it. Another thing I wanted to show you that we have is this little down here in this bottom area. I forgot to mention this when we were talking about these little functions down here by the tempo and the key, the beats per minute and the key. We have also what's called a capo, and that is great for guitarists. If you have a guitarist that they know better their key changes based on the capos. C1 would be capo 1, capo 2, capo 3, capo 4, capo 5, capo 6, capo 7, capo 8. So if you pressed capo 1, notice how it changes the chords to set them to what the capo would be for them. Okay. So again, if your guitarist is actually, and if you're a guitarist, you'll understand this, but if your guitarist is using the chord charts, and let's say all of us are playing in the key of B, but he's actually capoing on capo 1, well, then this allows him to see really what his chords truly are with capo 1 being played. Okay? So a nice function to have for guitarists that's added in there if you need it. Again, for the most part, that is really the overview. Now, the thing you're going to find is there's so many functions in this app, and you really should sit down and play with it and see how it works best for you. But again, as you can tell, there's just so much that this thing can do. One of the things I do want to go back to is in the library, and that's because I've been asked this before, but when you go to settings, and we're talking about our audio outputs. Again, I talked about how we were just using the simple 2-channel split. However, if you were going to do multi-outs, you would literally set what your number channels are, and you can send multiple outs. So like, for instance, if I click on this to, let's say, 4 outs, you can actually set the outs of your instrument to play multi-channel outs. Here we go. And you can select where you want these different tracks to go to what channels. So for those of you who may be using Dante or maybe using a multi out interface, so you can have separate channels to mix each one of these instruments in the front of your house, this is where you would set that up. And yes, Dante does run with this, so you could connect Dante to this, and it would allow you to set that setup as well. Again, you have as many channels as well. It looks like there's 16 on this, and that's probably because that is what this AR allows us to send out. So again, I'm going to go back to sending to just our regular split. And click back to 2. All right. But that gives you an idea of how you could set up your multi-outs and have more than just the 2 out. I hope this has been super helpful for you. If you've got any questions, please do not hesitate to contact us and ask, because we would definitely love to help you with it. Again, this is a great app player to use for your multi-tracks. So enjoy and continue to support us at guidetracks.co.